Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today at 12:30 on the 26th of November. We are on the eve of One Piece reaching 1100 chapters. Ravi, Kohagen, Okada-san, Halster coming in right here for my intro. It's good to see you all. Let's get ready to rumble! So, yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another One Piece chapter reaction and review. I am so undeniably pumped today. I've been waiting so long to read this chapter, it feels like forever since we went on break. It feels like forever. It feels like we've been deprived of One Piece content outside of the anime for so long. We skipped a week, but it feels so much longer than that. And now we're here on chapter 1099. Let's not beat around the bush anymore, because it appears that we're not going on break for this chapter. So let's see what happens in chapter 1099, Pacifist. Interesting title, because the last chapter we got just fundamentally ruined everyone's waifu list, because it's been confirmed that Jewelry Bonnie is not 21 as we all recently believed. Yeah, she's 12 years old. Yeah. And another thing that someone brought up, and I believe it was Halster, another thing about Jewelry Bonnie is the fact that her mother was taken by Celestial Dragon. Ginny, former member of the Revolutionary Army, was taken by Celestial Dragon to be his wife, became with child, also caught a disease, an incurable disease called Sapphire Scales, and thus was kicked out of Marie Joie and pretty much left to die. And Ginny died. We lost Ginny. But in her stead, we got Bonnie, who, we started to notice as she was growing up, started to get those same sapphire scales as well. Kuma is not her biological father. Her blood has Celestial Dragon blood. So that means that Jewelry Bonnie kinda is of a Celestial Dragon blood lineage, when you think about it. Sure, her mother wasn't one from Marie Joie, like another Celestial Dragon, but Jewelry Bonnie's father, more than likely, is the very same person that took Ginny in the first place. So that means that Jewelry Bonnie has Celestial Dragon blood running through her veins. So just think about that for a moment. Now we have Bonnie, who's growing up, and she's starting to get those same sapphire scales on her face as well, with Kuma finding out that she will not live past 10 years old. Yet, she's technically 12 now, which means that something has been figured out that allows her to survive this whole sapphire scales ordeal. So let's see what happens in chapter 1099, Pacifist. Reader request, Raccoon Dogs Fixing Up Oden's Hair by Match and Takashi. Wow, how long has it been since we had like a color cover page? Well, not like a color cover page, a reader request that had Oden involved in it. How long has it been? Is this the first one or maybe like the second or third one? But we have Kuma, because remember at the end of the chapter, the King Bekuri was beginning to set fire to the lower half of the Sorbet Kingdom, and that involved the church, and that involved all the elderly people, all the poor people who live down there. He's pretty much doing a gray terminal burning, like a gray terminal cleansing, like we would later see. Well, actually, this is after the events of the Gray Terminal. So we're having a repeat of the cleansing in Goa Kingdom happening again here in the Sorbet Kingdom, because it showed the flashbacks of Kuma, and he was training with Sabo when he was a kid. This is after that. So we're now having another instance where a country is trying to cleanse their lands of poor people, the have-nots, the less fortunate, by just razing them to the ground. We're having another nation do that. But we have Kuma, who's breathing heavily as people are screaming, "You've done enough, Kuma!
There's no saving the rest. Come back. You're only going to lose your own life. Kuma-ji!"
And then we have King Bekuri, who's watching that section of his kingdom just burn to the ground.
Far to the east, another kingdom used this strategy.
Oh my God! They're referencing it! Oda! They're referencing Goa Kingdom. And I just see, I'm so glad that I took that moment to read through all of One Piece volume by volume, because that's just present in that information's just in my mind now. But King Bekuri is referencing this same thing. This confirms it! He's doing the same thing that Goa Kingdom did.
Far to the east, another kingdom used this strategy successfully. The celestial dragons praised their beautiful city for being cleansed of all filth.
Goa Kingdom. Oh my God, the process is repeating again.
In order to bring about great bliss and prosperity, a wise king must sometimes steal his heart and enact cruel reforms.
It's funny how he's saying this, but he has like this big old smile on his face. He's not stealing his heart because I don't know who he's trying to fool, but he don't feel bad about this. He literally has that devious, evil, shadowed over face look for when someone who's just purely heartless and doesn't care. He don't care.
A wise king must sometimes steal his heart and enact cruel reforms.
King Bekuri, the people are mounting furious resistance. Murderer!
Step down at once! Put out the fires in the south! Kill a handful of them and be rewarded.
And then people are just starting to get gunned down. See? Told you. A wise king must steal his heart and enact cruel reforms. He has no problem killing his own people for this to happen. I already can't stand King Bekuri. Ah! Who dares defy the king's edict? Step forward! And then someone... Woo! Woo!
Huh? Who's that?
Stop now or be executed! And it's Kuma. This man is mad. This man is mad. This man is mad. This man is mad. This man is mad! You have just angered the worst possible person in your entire kingdom. A man who wants to be like Nika, to free and save as many people as possible. Who joined Dragon because Dragon shared his ideals and Kuma saw him as a hero. A person who would rather endure the pain of every single person in the lower half of the Sorbet Kingdom just to make sure that they're healthy and they're happy. I'm willing to suffer that pain for years if it means the people can be happy. And you thought it was a good idea to set fire to that section of the kingdom where the people he cared for lived? See, my dad and I had a discussion earlier this morning about, like, the more you mess around, the more you're gonna find out. King Bekuri is at a 10 on the mess around scale. I know they use another word for it, but I'm a clean person. I don't use that kind of language. But King Bekuri is at 10 on the mess around chart, on the mess around level of the graph. Now he's about to reach 10 on the find out section. Kuma's here, and he's mad! At Kuma's church.
Hurry! Treat the wounded! Stay inside, Bonnie. You don't want to be in the moonlight.
Okay. I hope he's safe. Dad's always such a chicken.
Stop right there! You know what'll happen if you strike at the king? And it shows Kuma thinking about the children who lost their families in the fire. We see Kuma's eyes get wider and wider as we see Bekuri scream,
You paid dearly for this, you country bumpkin preacher!
Urusuzashaku! And we just see this. Oh, I love this chapter! We see this gigantic paw-shaped bubble blow up King Bekudi's castle.
This incident would be known as the Solo Revolution of Sorbet Kingdom.
Kuma went to King Bekudi and destroyed them all. He went to the Sorbet Kingdom and liberated the entire kingdom solo. I love this man. I love Kuma. I love Kuma. I love Kuma. If I haven't said it already in the past chapters, Kuma has got to be one of the greatest characters Oda has created. We all thought this. Okay. Hat's coming off because I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting excited here. Hat's off. Okay. We got introduced to Kuma here, who was this terrifying individual. The first time we saw him really show how scary he was when he showed up at Thriller Bark. And everyone was scared of him. Then when Perona tried to roll up on him unsuccessfully, she got poofed away over to Mihawk's domain, and no one could tell what was going on. His movements in Thriller Bark were otherworldly, like this man was on a higher plane of existence than everyone else. Then we see him casually talking to everyone after Gecko Moria is defeated, and he's all like, well, I guess I'm going to have to take Monkey D. Luffy's head now. And everyone refused him. So what does this man do? He nukes everybody. The only person who's capable of standing after that is Sanji and Zoro. But Zoro's the only one who remains standing after, Zoro knocks out Sanji. And Kuma, seeing the resolve within Zoro, gives him a taste of pain. A taste of hell itself. And Zoro just dives into it. And Kuma's all like, respect. I won't take your captain's head. Then we see him later on. We see the power that he has, how strong he is, where at that time Zoro couldn't even lay barely a scratch on him. No one could touch him. Then we get him at Sabaody, where he does the one singular thing that no one else in the entire series has been able to do, was single-handedly defeat and separate the entire Straw Hat crew. Then, of course, other events as well, like him taking part in the war with Whitebeard. But to think that he had such a history, where he was brought up as one of the Buccaneer people, brought up with the knowledge of Nika in his lineage, his heritage. He had the mindset of protecting people. This man was just like a big, giant, cuddly bear. And to see him go as far as to destroy an entire kingdom, to save an entire nation, this man is the greatest. This man is great. Thank you, Oda. But let's continue. I'm over here going off on a whole rant. We are only on pages 4 and 5, okay? We're only on pages 4 and 5. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, everyone, especially if you're new here and you're just watching me for the first time. I don't usually go off like this, at least this long. I apologize, but these panels just got me so excited, and I just love Kuma so much, even more than before. He's just great.
This incident would be known as the Solo Revolution of Sorbet Kingdom.
Then we cut to Marijois.
I hear there's a new king in Sorbet. Strange. Who is it?
And this individual is speaking to Jay Garcia. Wouldn't it be crazy how ain't it crazy how the very person Jay Garcia tried to kill way back in God Valley is now the new king of the Sorbet Kingdom?
Who is it? Unable to resist the pleas of the people, Kuma became
King Kuma!
The king of the realm, living out of his old church.
King Kumaji! My back hurts!
I think you can stop teasing me now. The one actually in control at the palace is Old Bulldog. I'm just a figurehead to make the people feel better.
Back in King Bulldog's day, 2 generations ago, times were poor, but we were rich in spirit. Sure was hard not having money to go around, though.
And then we get Bonnie, who apparently has changed. Apparently, wait a minute. Okay, we get Bonnie as a slightly grown woman, but she still has more of the sapphire scales. Like we get Bonnie how she looks now. So, and everyone's all like, what? And it's Bonnie screaming,
Cardio! Cardio!
Huh? Who's the girl running around the church?
she looks just as pretty as Jenny.
Huh? Jenny?
Why are you all so shocked?
I have to be ready to go and see the horizon and see what
I have to be ready to go and see the horizon at sea with Daddy when I turn 10.
Huh? Daddy?
So I have to build up strength for... Huh?
And this is Bonnie seeing herself for the very first time. She doesn't realize that she just aged up.
That was Bonnie? What was that transformation? Did you eat a devil fruit? When?
And Kuma fainted. Kuma fainted.
Wake up, Komachi! Is this it? The age fruit? Where did she? Try doing it with your mind.
Get older! Get older!
Stop that, Bonnie. You're going to wear yourself out.
King Kuma!
Please.
Please, your majesty, grant us an audience! Gah! She turned into a wrinkled old bag! It really worked! She's hideous!
And we see Bonnie as she's changed in... Wait a minute. Wait, this is someone else. Hold up. Hold up. This is a... Oh, wait. Oh, I was about to say, is that old Bonnie? But it's not.
It really worked! She's hideous!
And it's this elderly lady, while Bonnie is just standing in the distance as a child, still there. So this dude kind of confused an old lady for Bonnie.
It's not working. It's too hard to get older. Who are you, mister?
You must be Princess Bonnie, then. My name is Bulldog. I'm something like an aide to your father. I have weighty matters to discuss.
Sorbet Kingdom, former king 2 gens ago. Bulldog.
My mother's already here, I see. She's Connie, the one-time Queen Dowager.
I now understand how Bonnie got that Hold up. Let's just keep going. We're not even halfway through. Good God.
She's Connie, the one-time Queen Dowager.
King Beckwith's coming back? Look at the nonsense in this article. I'm certain Beckwith set this up. And then we have, just as many of you surmised, they're now painting Kuma to be like this. The panel shows Kuma in the newspaper with them calling Kuma a wicked dictator.
I mean, really? Seize the throne with violence by burning villages? He's trying to overthrow us from abroad. It means he has the world government on his side. Beckwith will be back to take control. Mark my words. There's intel that he's preparing battleships.
And Kuma doesn't say anything. Then we get the elderly.
We can't have Beckwith coming back here. He'll have us killed this time.
Don't worry. He won't set a single toe within the country again. Whatever he tries to bring back with him, I'll drive it all away. But once that happens, I'll be seen as a criminal. I won't be able to stay here anymore. Once that happens, I'll need you to be king, Bulldog. Would you take Bonnie under your wing in that case? Even this church will be in danger.
All right. I'll find her a place with the same conditions.
And then it cuts to Bonnie, who has learned how to harness her powers even more to make herself look like Connie, the one-time Queen Dowager, which thus gives us the inspiration for her Queen Dowager look when she infiltrated Marijois. So it's because of this first interaction with Connie that Bonnie learned how to harness her age fruit powers a little bit more.
All right, I'll find her a place with the same conditions.
I did it!
And this is Bonnie turning into an old lady like Connie.
Bonnie, be a good girl while I'm gone. I'll be back when I'm able.
That's my mom.
You're leaving? I'll miss you.
And then it has Kuma in a boat by himself in front of a whole bunch of Navy warships with Bekuti screaming, "That's him, Navy! Kill him! He's the man who stole Sorbet Kingdom from me! A true tyrant who's committed all manner of atrocities! Kill him now! I am the true king!"
You were a fool to show your face around here again. Naturally, Kuma sank all the ships.
Yo, Bekuti messed around and found out again! I love Kuma! I love Kuma! Ah!
Naturally, Kuma sank all the ships and fled to sea. A bounty was placed on his head, and through his pirate reputation and great strength, its value swelled over time.
And then we have Bonnie being taken care of by the Queen Dowager.
I wish Daddy was here. I want to see him again. I'm sorry, Bonnie dear. Remember, Kuma is the hero who saved this land. I don't care. He's my daddy. Once I'm 10 and I'm all better, I'll be a pirate too. Don't do it, dear. I can turn into a grown-up.
Yo! And we get, yo. We get Kuma traveling around the world. And where are the places he's going? He's going to every place that he sent the Straw Hat crew. We get to the island where it has the giant birds and the indigenous people that also have a ton of medical knowledge and highly high-tech weapons first.
Have you ever seen this disease before? She can't be in sunlight, the poor thing.
Then we see Kuma go to the home of Kurigana Island. What is it? Kurigana Island? The Muggy Kingdom. He goes to the island of the Muggy Kingdom, where Zoro would be sent. The first island is the island where Chopper would be sent. The second island he goes to is the home of Mihawk, where Zoro would be sent. Then we get, what do you mean Abdullah and Khajiit? They ran into Kuma. What is it? Abdullah and Jeet? Abdullah and Jeet, these same two dudes we see in the Corrida Coliseum in Dressrosa, they tried to run up on Kuma. I spy a hot bounty. Aren't you Bartholomew Kuma? And Kuma just blows him up.
Your daughter has 5 years to live at best.
And then we have Kuma going to the island of Vegapunk's former residence. You know, Future Island. The old, I forget the name. Someone will say in chat. But he goes there. He goes to that island. You know, the one that has like the nails sticking through the whole area and it's all covered in snow. Then we go to the bridge, the San Juan Bridge. I forget the names. I am so sorry. I'm forgetting the names of all these locations. But Kuma is going all over the world to all these different places where the other Straw Hats would be put. So the Muggy Kingdom where Zoro would go would be sent. The nation where Frankie would be sent and, you know, cause an incident where he would, you know, cause many incidents there. Then we go to the bridge that's being built that Robin would be sent to. Then we go to the weather Sky Islands that Nami would be sent to. We go to the big giant jungle food places where we have Heracleson. He goes there where Usopp would be sent. Every single place. He goes there. So he knew of these places before. He clearly knew of these places before, and he wasn't just randomly pushing them there. He's been there. And then we have a giant ship that makes its way towards Kuma. And it's a giant ship with a giant dragon on the front, which looks like the Revolutionary Army's ship as well. Hey there! Oh, you? Hey there, Kuma! As we see Morley and we see... Ooh, is that Bello Betty? Wow, she actually has a closed shirt for once. We have Bello Betty, and we have Morley, and we have another member of the Revolutionary Armies as well. We've seen his name. He was the one that was there when they were looking out for people showing at the Kamabaka Kingdom, but I forget his name as well. There's just so many names. I hope you understand. There's so many names in the story. We'll go back through it again. But we have Dragon sitting with Bello Betty. This Kuma is huge. Kuma is a big dude. Kuma is a big guy because Bello Betty is so small on his shoulder that she's capable of leaning on his head and just laying like, paint me like one of your French girls. Like laying up on Kuma, just chilling while they're drinking. And Kuma's so big that a barrel of drink, like a big old barrel of drink, is about the size of a mug for him. These people be big in One Piece. I'm sorry, let's continue. But we get Dragon.
Eva and Inazuma were thrown in prison. And since I last saw you, you've been a king, a tyrant, and a pirate, eh?
So at this time, Ivankov and Inazuma were taken to Impel Down, where they would later build 5.5 with the help of Morley.
Nobody in the Revolutionary Army took those articles seriously, of course. Hey,
Kuma, can I be the captain of the Eastern Forces?
This is Morley saying that.
Nobody in the Revolutionary Army took those articles seriously, of course.
Hey, Kuma, can I be the captain of the Eastern Forces?
Why ask me, Betty?
Dragon says the position eternally belongs to Ginny until you give permission.
Oh, I respect Dragon so much for that. No one can be captain of the Eastern Forces unless Kuma says so, because Ginny was close to him. So you got to go through. Ooh, I love Dragon. I have so much respect for him for just that one statement.
Dragon says the position eternally belongs to Ginny until you give permission.
So it takes a foul-mouthed woman to run the Eastern Forces? I don't mind.
Yay!
And then we have Dragon again.
Sabo, Koala, and the others want to see you too. We have many promising young members rising through the ranks. I want to show them off to you.
I've seen what's happening around the world, and I often wondered what you would have done, Dragon. I want to return to the fold, but...
Bonnie, as a matter of fact, I wanted to talk about her. You're aware of the Navy's scientist Dr. Vegapunk, aren't you? After the recent accident, he's going to transfer to a new lab. Ordinarily, he's kept under heavy security, but he's more approachable during the transition.
Thank you, Dragon. In all honesty, I've given it up for loss. I'll go and speak with him. If I can just cure Bonnie's disease, then I'd be happy to fight with you again.
May the winds of fate guide us well, my friend.
Oh, and he does like this chest bump. Oh, okay, Dragon. May the winds of fate guide us well, my friend. That's a new phrase for Dragon. May the winds of fate guide us well. Woo! Guard your heart! Steal your heart! Oh my god! Oh! Ah! Dragon! I'm so happy, I'm sorry.
May the winds of fate guide us well, my friend.
Then we get Bonnie, who's beating up somebody in town.
Yeah!
Bonnie, that was amazing.
Yeah, I was going easy on her.
Daddy!
And this is Bonnie, fighting, and I guess... Yeah, fighting as Kuma shows up again. And then we cut to another place.
Naval Science Division, Laboratory 8, later known as Egghead.
Oh, we're seeing Egghead before it fully becomes Egghead.
Naval Science Division, Laboratory 8, later known as Egghead.
Where are we?
We're going to see a doctor to get a checkup before your disease is healed.
I've never seen a man like you before.
I was just thinking the same thing.
As it shows, Kuma's carrying around Bonnie the same way Tanjiro carried around Nezuko and Demon Slayer. Gotta keep her holed up in a barrel to keep her out of the sunlight. Oh!
I've never seen a man like you before.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Wow, look at his head. Gross.
Because this is before Vegapunk had, I guess, sliced off the upper part of his head and turned it later into Punk Records. Here, his head is still inhumanly massive because of the brain fruit.
What a body.
What in the world? Okay.
What a body. You have to let me study your muscles. For science, of course. And that's your sickly daughter? Kind of a brat, eh?
I don't mind a little lip, though. Sapphire scales. You've done well to limit them for so long. She'll survive.
She will?
And then we get Sentomaru, who's like chilling with Bonnie, but is all like, would you please get off of my battle axe? Because Bonnie's just chilling, just playing with Sentomaru's battle axe. You know, she's not lifting it, but she's just like sitting on it. And he's all like, please be careful. Like, Sentomaru's all, you're a child. Get away from my battle axe, please.
I'll use some medical tech that I've been holding back from the public market. Technically speaking, I'll be generating new stem cells and transplanting them. It's about as much work and cost as creating a cyborg.
She'll turn into a cyborg?
It'll cost as much, I said. Tell me, are you a buccaneer?
Yes.
You know, I'm with the government, don't you?
I trust Dragon wouldn't put me in danger. What makes my blood different than other people's?
Well, I don't have enough of a sample size to explain.
You want to make clones of me?
That's right! I've been looking for the right person to be the base for my clone soldiers. Just provide me with blood samples and permission to create clone soldiers, and I'll cover the entire immense cost of Bonnie's operation. You can't pay for it yourself, I assume?
I won't be declining the offer either way. But what will you do with them? All these soldiers that look just like me, will they be in the Navy?
That's right! Tell me, do you like electromagnetic energy? When they see a human being shooting laser beams, those pirates will go mute with shock. They'll be laid low by the overwhelming power of science. My soldiers' bodies will be as hard as shields, deflecting bullets and saving the populace. They'll be heroes to the common man. The mighty warriors from the future. And then...
He's an odd man, but true to his desires and trustworthy. That's what Dragon said.
That's what Dragon said about me? The nerve!
Perhaps. If clone soldiers based on me save other people's lives, then my own life will have meant something.
Dragon's going to be furious about the terms.
Well, I'm nothing but grateful to you both. I would make a deal with you to save Bonnie's life, even if you were the devil himself. Just save Bonnie.
You're a true saint!
Then we cut to Sacred Marijois.
Clone soldiers are weapons, and weapons are valued by how many they can kill.
And then we have Jay Garcia, who seems to be the most prominent here due to his, position of being head of science and research division.
Vegapunk would let a golden opportunity slip through his fingers, but I have a plan to deal with this.
As you say, my lord.
A saint? No, I'm nothing like that. Just a weak-willed pacifist.
I like that. I think I'll use it for the name of my future soldiers.
So the name Pacifista came from Kuma himself. And that's the end of the chapter. Wow. 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 That was a great chapter. I enjoyed that. Let me see what you all have said. Let's see. Funny you should speak of Bonnie's appearance being misleading, but also the fact Bonnie is technically part celestial dragon is super dope. Today it's raining out of nowhere, thunder is booming. It's cold here. Maybe she's Doflamingo's cousin. Wait, when did I bring this up? I know I didn't do it during the live stream of Tani. You said it as a comment. I think you said it as a comment for something. Holster, I think you said it as a comment. Since I was caught up to the age thing, I didn't think about other more interesting details. Someone said it. It was either Ogata-san or someone else. Difference is Great Terminal was because a Celestial Dragon was coming this occasion. It's because Bekuri is he's a jerk. That's exactly what Goa Kingdom did. And to make it even worse, he's killing the elderly. Goodbye, nice to know you, King Nothing. Man decided to come back 16 years later just to find out real quick. Seriously. Poke the bear and prepare to get mauled. Oh, I like that analogy. Ozzy, you mad genius. Love the pun, especially because it's so real. Yeah, 13 minutes and we still at third page. Ravi, I know. I'm sorry. I just got massively hyped talking about Kuma. This is the actual Queen Connie. Yeah, the actual Queen Connie that Bonnie made herself look like. Saturn lurking. Don't fall for it, everyone. Oh, he lurking. He's definitely lurking here now. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, joke's on you. I didn't fall for it a second time. It's all makes sense now. What was his bounty when it was frozen? Like 260 million or something? 296 million. Total and utter devastation. Let's see. Heraclesen, Tequila Wolf. And the other looks like Mihawk's Island. Okay, thank you, Tequila Wolf. I knew it was Wolf something, but I couldn't remember. Thank you, Ozzy. Thank you, Ozzy, for reminding me that was the Tequila Wolf Bridge. We didn't see Amazon Lily, which makes sense for obvious reasons. Monkey Kingdom, I believe the name was. He's around the same height as Moria. Of course, he's going to be big. Bello Betty just goes masculine and Scottish for no reason. Yeah, I was reading the wrong lines. The lines that were supposed to be for Betty, I was reading it for Morley, and the lines that were supposed to be for Morley, I was reading it for Betty, so I kind of messed that one up. I'm so sorry. Made it just in time. Finding, good to see you. Love her and Sentomaru playing it adds more to him saving her. I'm surprised that Kizaru isn't there. Vegapunk's Lilith is showing with that money talk. And unfortunately, this is where the sabotage starts, and Saturn will play a pivotal part in all of this. That's the thing! Saturn got Egghead bugged. Of course he would. You don't give the smartest man in the world his own laboratory to do stuff, and you don't probe it so that you can keep tabs on everything he's doing, because the last thing you would want the world's smartest man to do is realize he's smarter than you and create something that you are not prepared for. So it's not surprising that he would have the entire place bugged, or there's someone on the inside there at Egghead right now that's relaying information. Mind you, this is Vegapunk before he creates the satellites. But who's to say that there isn't someone else on Egghead with him? He doesn't have... This is years back. Before Vegapunk got the laser grid and Punk Records and all these technological advancements and defenses. Before the animal weapon, the mechanical sea beasts out there on the oceans outside of Egghead. Because we're seeing Egghead when it's just the base stage, like just the base laboratory there. This is before it gets larger, before it becomes an entire future town. We get that first. We're getting like the ground level for it first. So I wouldn't be surprised if Saturn's got someone there keeping tabs on Vegapunk without Vegapunk's knowledge. I wouldn't be surprised. But let's just talk about everything else that we witnessed here. First, Kuma showing just how angry he can be by just decimating Bekuti and his entire kingdom when Bekuti tried to enact the same thing the Goa Kingdom did with Great Terminal, and thus become the new king in Bekuti's stead. Bekuti comes back saying like, he stole my kingdom from me. He stole everything, all the atrocities that he committed. Because, you know, with him being in league with the world government, he was able to put in the paper that Kuma was the reason for the big massive fires and death and destruction of the Sorbet Kingdom's lower half. So, you know, if you're rich, you can make the world think anything. Ain't that scary? If you got enough money, you can fool the entire world. Not just like the instance where the world government fooled the entire world into thinking that Doflamingo abdicated from his position as a warlord, but you see that in real life. Sometimes when things shouldn't happen, or when things happen, sometimes it's because someone paid another person enough money to make it happen. That's messed up when you think about it. But we got that going on. Kuma going on these long trips to figure out how to cure Bonnie. We find out that Bonnie at some point ate the age fruit, and she's suddenly able to change her age, though she doesn't have full control over it quite yet. So she changed into her much older self that many of us are used to, or at least close to that age. And then she turns into a child, and then when Queen Connie comes around, she turns into an old lady, so that gives us how she was able to infiltrate Marijois to make herself look like the Queen Dowager way back when during the Reverie. God, the Reverie was so long ago. But So many things we learned. Kuma going all over the world to places where he would later send the individual Straw Hats when he separated them many years later. The only place that was brought up that we didn't go to was the Kamabaka Kingdom and Amazon Lily. Everywhere else we've seen, but we didn't go to Amazon Lily or Kamabaka Kingdom. Obviously not Kamabaka Kingdom because Ivankov and Inazuma were already imprisoned and impelled down. So, he's not going to get any answers from Eva because Eva wouldn't have been there. And we didn't go to Amazon Lily for reasons. But this chapter, not only was it a great chapter, but we just see just how good of an individual that Kuma is. Willing to go through all this trouble just to save Bonnie because he cared that much for Ginny. And even going to Vegapunk and willing to be experimented on just to save Bonnie's life. And in doing so, becomes pretty much the progenitor to all the pacifistas, with him literally giving the inspiration for pacifistas by calling himself a weak-willed pacifist. This man, Kuma, it just makes me sad to see him in this state right now. And mind you, this is still a flashback. We haven't gotten back to the present yet. So, I enjoyed this. Is Connie Bulldog's mom? Yes. Yes. This was a great chapter. This was a great chapter. It got me out of my chair. And I haven't really been getting out of my chair all that often, but the times I have, it's been like big monumental moments. But I enjoyed this chapter. I love Kuma. Okay, just checking to see if you got family tree relations right. Okay, you're good. I'm concerned about what Saturn's about to do. Now, mind you, remember in the flashback that Bonnie remembers when she stabs Saturn, it is the voice of Saturn saying do as you're told or whatever, and make sure. Hold on. We gotta go back. We gotta go back a couple of chapters. I'm trying to remember what chapter it was. I think it was 1092, where Bonnie has the memories. No. We need to go further. Let's skip to 1094. Yeah. Right here on chapter 1094, when Bonnie grabs a sword and proceeds to stab Saturn, she's remembering a voice saying, "I gave you an order, Vegapunk. He must not have any will left." But that'll mean Kuma is, and that's when Bonnie, at the present, remembers that it was Saturn. So Saturn's about to mess things up royally. He's about to mess things up royally. He's going to be the reason why Kuma is just a soulless machine. Could see 1100 being the end of the flashback and Kuma landing epically at Egghead. We'll have to see. We get a chapter next week. I am looking that much forward to seeing Saturn get what's coming to him, but not only do I want Kuma to wash him, but Luffy as well. Oh, there's going to be some washing of the hands. Okay, come on. We about to see some Dial soap level washing right now. Dial is good for getting out even the toughest stains, and that includes Gorosei stains. I'm assuming this leads to the removing of his mind or will in stuff scene. Wait, did Kuma lose his will entirely just after Sabaody? So the thing with Sabaody is that he still had some of his will left. When he was talking to Rayleigh, he was saying, I don't have much time. I don't have much time. That was when the final parts of him were being, modified so that he doesn't have any will left. So it was a gradual process, but when he was talking to Rayleigh back on Sabaody, he was talking about, I don't have much time left. So that was going to be the final parts of him being taken out. And then when he told Luffy, we will not see each other again, I think he meant, you will not see me as the Kuma you know again. So the next time we see Kuma, he's literally just a soulless weapon to be used. The next time we see Kuma, which is at Marineford, he's already lost all of his will and all of his memories and everything. He's just a walking PX0 at that point. because he got the order to protect the Sunny, so I'm assuming he lost his will by then. Kuma was supposed to have lost his memory, but Vegapunk had one extra order put into Kuma that he stuck to for 2 years. And that's the order, and then afterwards, he went back to being like his usual pacifista self again. Because if so, that would mean he lost himself completely while Bonnie was 10, since she was 10 2 years ago. Yeah. For the most part, yeah. So Kuma lost his will, but Vegapunk had one last order put into his mind. He had one last order put into his mind to make it so that he would protect the Sunny while the Straw Hats were all separated for 2 whole years. After that, after Frankie showed up, yeah, he went back to being like his regular self again, and he left. And then he just went back to being, soulless, mindless Kuma, servant of the celestial dragons and their slave. So it's so sad what's happened to him. I really hope they can get Kuma back to the way he was. Even if it's just briefly, it'll mean so much to Bonnie. It really would. But we're just going to have to see where things go from here. And, that just makes the whole her wanting to be with her dad when she turns 10 all the more tragic. Yeah, because she hasn't been able to be with her dad, for years. Having to endure him losing himself over time. Not being able to get close to him because of the relationship that they share. It's something. It really is. I love these chapters. I love these flashback chapters. First, on yesterday, we get the final episode of the Wano arc. And today, we're getting the continuation of Kuma's flashbacks, where it leads up to him being the first pacifista and all the things involved with that, and then seeing Saturn's involvement. Now, just think about this for a second. This is just Saturn. This is a whole bunch of flashbacks that have just been including Saturn. We still have 4 other members who have not been anywhere. That's the scary thing. We got Jay Garcia Saturn here, and he's got the power to explode the heads of individuals, or keep people from moving, or knock back someone as physically and inhumanly strong as Sanji and make him cough up blood from pain and just body everybody around him. That's just one member of the Gorosei. We still got 4 other people. All these events we're seeing is linked to Jay Garcia, and that's just him. What else have the Gorosei done to make them even worse? The best dads in One Piece: Kuma, Whitebeard, Zeph, Yasuye is on that list as well. But Kuma's top dad. Kuma is the top dog dad. Kuma is the best dad. This man took a child that wasn't even his own. And Clap. Yeah, Clap was a good dad too. He was a good dad, teaching his son about Nika, inspiring his son, before we lost him. Now, before we go into a list of One Piece's best dads, Kuma is now the best dad. And perfect timing, family more than likely calling me about food. Give me a sec. Love my family. Love my family. They always got my back. But before we go on a list about the best dads in One Piece, Kuma really is up there. He took a child that wasn't his own, cared for her because of how much he cared for Ginny, and has gone these extra lengths. Like, we are witnessing a Corazon helping Law moment before we even get Corazon helping Law. We are witnessing Kuma going through that same thing, finding out how to save this child from this incurable disease. Going all over the world to find out. The only difference is he's not taking Bonnie with him. So, Corazon isn't the only one who would go to such lengths to save the life of one child, just so that they can live happy. Kuma's doing that too. He did it before Corazon did it. So, great dad. I love these chapters with Kuma. I'm so glad we're getting the flashbacks. My thing is, this is yet another moment. This is yet another moment where the question of just what are the Buccaneer people is brought into a much bigger light. Now, mind you, Vegapunk is all like, yeah, are you of the Buccaneer people? And Kuma doesn't even know what makes his blood unique. He doesn't even know what makes him so unique as a Buccaneer individual. Vegapunk knows, but he's all like, I don't have enough blood samples to give you enough details. Yes, you can. He did it after Corazon did he? Did he? Did he? What? Actually, do we know the timeline for when he did all this? He might have been doing it after. Kuma may have been doing this after Corazon did it, because Law was much younger, and this is 7 years ago. Yeah, this is 7 years ago. Law would have been much older. So actually, no, Corazon did it first. Yeah, you're right. Corazon did it first. Then it was Kuma. Yeah, Law is older than Bonnie. Bonnie is 10 years old at this time, 12 years later. So yeah, Corazon did it first. Sometimes the chronology of this story tends to be like kind of messing with me sometimes. My apologies. I sometimes forget that. But Corazon did it first. Kuma did it second. So we're having another example of that. But there's a question of like who the Buccaneer people are. What is it about their blood that makes them so unique? And why was Saturn so adamant in wiping out the entire race? So many questions. The Buccaneers and what the world government did with the pacifistas reminds you of the Peacekeepers and Farscape. Farscape, for your information, is a great series for people who love One Piece. Interesting, I've heard of Farscape before, but I never really got into it. Law was a kid, and Bonnie is a kid now. Yeah. Don't worry, I understand. I got it wrong. Corazon first, Kuma second. So, we are not going on break. Bonnie is 5 in this chapter, with it being 7 years ago. Yeah, so definitely Law is much older during this time. And how can you forget about Dr. Heroluck? Yeah, so many great dads in One Piece, but Kuma's really at the top 3 lists now. He really is. I thought Whitebeard was like the top one, and then, Zeph, Odin, Yasuie, all these different dads. Even Pound is in that list, but Kuma just went up to number 1 dad for me because of the lengths he would go through. And there were so many interesting moments during the series, like him carrying around Juri Bonnie like Nezuko in Demon Slayer. Like, he's carrying around Bonnie in this big old makeshift barrel to shield her from the sunlight while they travel. It's essentially the same as Tanjiro carrying around Nezuko. That's how it is. That's just hilarious to me. But overall, enjoy this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Sorry if I kept going a lot longer than I normally would, but y'all know how it is whenever I start talking about and doing One Piece stuff. Yeah, I'm good. I have a feeling that I have many new people who are here on this channel for the very first time, and all I can say to you is, hello, how are you? Hope you had a fantastic time while you were here witnessing my reaction to the newest chapter of One Piece. I do these every Sunday, and of course I do an assortment of things throughout the week, and we have an upcoming One Piece Reflections, which will be on a Thursday. so we can go over all the chapters of One Piece that we got in November, because December starts on Friday. Can y'all believe it? This is the final half week. This is the final half week of November. Let's go. We get One Piece, My Hero Academia, and Jujutsu Kaisen next week. Yeah, we get all 3 next week, because no My Hero today. No My Hero today. That's on break. We get Jujutsu Kaisen today. But no problem. It's all good. One Piece does that to you. Yeah. But yeah. I'll keep droning on if I don't stop, because I got to get started with Jujutsu Kaisen next. Everyone, all I can say to you is that it is such an immense honor and privilege to be here and do these reactions for all of you. And I know the way I do it is different from how other people will do it, but this is my job, this is my talent, this is my gifting, this is what I love to do, and I'm just happy that what I do is entertaining for you, because regardless of what type of support you show for me on this channel, I'm just grateful for you being here. I really am. You guys make this entire channel great. You make it worth waking up in the morning to do this. I just want to say how grateful I am for you. How thankful I am for you. We're past Thanksgiving, but I'm never going to stop being thankful for all of you guys. I'm not. But I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later peoples, on to Jujutsu Kaisen.